have a lightweight travel companion here. Welcome back, I am Mauro and this is the in-depth review of the tiny and mighty Weebill Lab 3-axis gimbal from Zhiyun Tech. And note one thing, I filmed all the footage in 25 frames per second. You can film in 120 frames per second with a banana and stabilize it and it will look good. Before rambling on the features, let's make a quick unboxing. In the soft foam shell latch case, you will find the Weebill Lab. A great and firm tripod, detachable 2-in-1 Arca Swiss Manfrotto plate with lens support, rechargeable batteries, the charger, USB cable, camera riser plate and camera control cables, and 3 1/4 screw mounts. I got an additional part of the creator package kit with the external follow focus motor and the trans mount phone holder up to 6.5-inch tall phones. So, what's the hype about this gimbal? Well, let's have a look on the main key features. The tripod stand can be either held in upright for the common use or enter a handy underslung position by mounting the tripod as a hand grip. This will make an easy hold position when you want that really low angle shots. The Weebill Lab is designed with a latch on each axis which makes it super easy to balance and carry around without having 3 axes wobbling around. There is an OLED monochrome screen for the main parameters, joystick control, POV mode button, record button when you connect it to your camera. At the side there is the Go button, that's actually a sport button to strengthen the motor responsiveness, pan follow, all lock mode and the power button. Before you power on the gimbal, you will have to balance it right on the 3 axes to reach the perfect balance. The control cable will enable to control your main camera controls through the main dial wheel handle. I am using a Sony a7 III. You will have to enter the setup and enter the USB connection to select PC remote connection. You will be able to control on the knob the aperture, the shutter speed, the ISO value, the exposure compensation, focus with the center button and start and stop recording with the record button. On the side there is the follow focus control knob for the dedicated follow focus motor controller. The follow focus motor is attached on the bottom of the Arca Swiss Manfrotto plate with a dedicated USB-C cable port on the horizontal axis and on the motor. This will allow you to pull very smooth focus pulls manually and control the best of your focus point on your lens. Let's have a look on my test with 3 different lenses. I mostly use the Zeiss 55 on my gimbals because I like to get that background separation and background blur. All the tests were filmed in 25 frames per second. No slow motion used ever, to show you the true to life stabilization of this gimbal. Every lens was also tested in underslung mode for that dope real low angle effect. Having my favorite lens on a gimbal really opens various possibilities for a dynamic shot and I didn't notice any weird jitters or balance problems. On the running test I was actually running really fast and I wanted to get you an idea of the stability while running on such a focal length. And if you want to avoid the walking bounces, it's actually the best way to have a rotation move with this focal length to avoid your steps. I am really pleased with the results. My second most used lens is the 6x35 f4, where I like to get that great reveal shots and openings, just like following the subjects on a wider reveal scale. The The wide openings and the test shots really shows no problems with this setup, and even on a running fast follow setup, where the gimbal performs excellent with no weird jitters and almost no visible footsteps. The tilt moves are really fluent, getting you a perfect reveal transition. Using the A7 III with the 16-35 f4 on the Weebill, it's a thumbs up. And lastly, I managed to balance the Samyang 35mm f1.4 with the follow focus and all the gadgets attached on. I just went for a run. I would advise not to actually use such a heavy setup on the Weebill, but I wanted to test the maximum stress possible and to get the idea of the actual best maximum weight. Well, without the follow focus, this is the maximum weight and size that I would advise to use on the Weebill. I would advise to use the Samyang without the follow focus. We are reaching weight limits on the Weebill. There are some awesome functions on the Weebill like the vertigo mode that can be activated by pressing 2 times the POV button for that dynamic roll axis move. Switching down the side button, you will enter the all lock functions to lock all your axes and avoid any tilt and follow movement. When you hold down the go button, you will enter sport mode. The motors will get more explosive if you desire to film a faster followed action. Pressing 2 times the trigger on the back, you recenter the gimbal, and pressing it 3 times, you will enter selfie mode. On the front, you can control the gimbal movement with the joystick. Pressing once the POV button, you will enter POV mode, where the roll axis also follows. Pressing down the 3 dots control wheel button, you will allow to control your motor strength depending on your setup weight. I use the high for the 16-35 and the Samyang, and the middle strength for the 55. There is also a wheel motor setting option, joystick mode, gimbal calibration, angle, and about the gimbal status. Holding down the POV button for a couple of seconds, you can put the motors on standby, and holding it again for a couple of seconds, the motors will regain power. I was actually using the standard Sony Play Memories Live View app on my phone mount, because at the time of the test the Zhiyun app wasn't giving me the live feed on my Android OnePlus 6, and I wasn't able to use the live feed tracking function. For now it works the best only for iOS users, so for now Android users will have to wait to get the full-featured app. So what are my final thoughts on the Weebill? I'm actually quite surprised on the results that I'm getting out of this tiny form designed 3-axis gimbal, and even on a not so lightweight setup. The true hardware follow focus motor adds you a true camera operator focus transition ability, and the vortex feature design on the gimbal is truly great. The 2 different tripod mounting positions allows you to enter the underslung mode with the weight evenly distributed for an easy carry mode. The lock motor position is a very well thought feature, making sure that you don't hit anything while carrying around. When holding the gimbal, you have to make sure that you take the handle of the gimbal palm on your hand a little bit lower and avoid to hit all the buttons on the handle and mess up the desired settings. A bigger hand could have problems with that, and I would advise to get looking onto the same design Zhiyun Crane 3. I noticed that the screen placement isn't in the ideal position because it was always leaning my head down to have a clear look on what's happening with the settings. If you want your gimbal batteries to last longer, I would advise to turn off the USB power function on your camera. I was not able to get the live view from the Zhiyun app connected on my Android and get the smart feature like tracking. There should be a firmware update to resolve that issue. If you have a heavier camera setup with a similar compact design, you could check the Zhiyun Crane 3, where the actual controls, screen and buttons are located on top of the handle for a more convenient use. What do you think, guys? Will it be your lightweight travel system setup for your mirrorless? I might start using it for my destination travel weddings where my heavier setup isn't suitable for an all-in-one bag run and gun situation. If you have any question, feel free to put your ideas on the comment section down below. There is also a link in the description to check out this tiny and mighty Weebill. Thanks again guys for watching. Until the next time, thumbs up, subscribe if you really enjoyed it with the bell ring icon to get notified every time I make a new video. Until the next time, have a nice day.